Alright, what's going on, guys? I'm bringing you Smacking Sweaties episode number 54. In this episode, I'm playing against three pretty good stat players. One of them had like really good stats. The other two had like, one of them had like decent stats, the other one had like whatever, okay, decent stats. It's Brandon, Tiger, and the Grim Reefer. So, if you know any of them, I don't know. But anyways, we spec'd pretty good, and it was on their host. We were all three barring. They probably had like a West Coast host or something, I don't know. And we 100-point clubbed them, and I also dropped 54. So it was a pretty solid game overall. And it was me, I think it was me, TNT, and Zoom. I'm pretty sure I'm on I'm Too Good For You. Zoom is on Bias Line, and TNT's on Rare and Deer. And me and Zoom dropped 55, I had 54, and TNT had 47. And overall, it was just a pretty good game. Hijacked. And should be pretty good to watch. But anyways, that's all I'm going to say about the gameplay. Be sure to leave a like rating if you enjoy. I'm going to continue the history of Smacking Sweaties in this video. So the last video I left off at episode 31. So that leaves episode 32. So I got about 9 minutes to talk. So I might even get all the way up past episode 40. I don't know. We'll have to see. So anyways, starting with episode 32. This was actually a 4v4 scrim episode. It was this was one of our last scrims. No, it wasn't. It was one of our last scrims with the full A team. It was us versus the former AMP competitive team plus the addition of Seth Jones, and they got 50-point club. They got absolutely destroyed, and that was pretty funny. And then let's see, episode 33. It was another 2v3 episode, and I actually ended up dropping 60 2v3, and it was versus I don't know who it was. Hold on. It was on Slums, I'm pretty sure. It was against these STK kids, and we spec'd them pretty bad, to be honest, especially for a 2v3 to drop 60, and it was some, like, FBYA kid, and it was Slums. It was me and Ratchet, so that was a pretty good episode. It's one of my most kills as far as the episodes go, so that's pretty good. And then, let's see, episode 34, it was another 2v3, and this time it was versus another top 25 player. This time we were playing against that legendary Ultima kid, if you've seen him on the leaderboards. And it was me and Mags, and this was kind of like a throwback one as well. So this was way back in the day. We beat him 2v3 on Overflow, so that was a pretty good one as well. Episode 35. This is probably my biggest achievement as far as episodes, just for like what I did to these kids. These guys all had like 4 KDs and 10 win-losses, and I ended up dropping a nuclear on them, so that was pretty good. I was playing against, let's see what their names were. Run Non-Lethals, Hey, Clutch, and MOG Cody or something like that. I don't know. But they all had like really good stats. I had never really heard of them, but they all had like pretty good stats, so I was kind of confused that I smacked them this bad, but it worked out pretty well, and I ended up getting a nuclear, so that was pretty cool. Definitely a top episode in my opinion, just as far as like what I did to them. Episode 36, it was another 2v3. I dropped 50 with a Vector as well, so that was cool. It was me, Illusion, and Seth Jones, but what ended up happening was Seth Jones ended up getting hit offline by Bryce halfway through the game. And we were playing against Killuminosity, Doing Work, and Negro's Rage. So me and Illusion ended up finishing up the game 2v3, and we ended up winning, so that was a pretty good episode as well. And let's see, episode 37. Okay, episode 37 was actually a league play game. It wasn't against like anyone like that known, but I just completely carried my team, and it was during a live stream, and I think it was a 3v4, and we were playing against a full team, and we ended up just barely winning, and I had to like go extremely clutch at the end. And it was a pretty entertaining gameplay, to say the least. I dropped like 50 plus kills on them, and it was a pretty good episode. And it was like the first time I had ever really live streamed, and I took it like from the I highlighted the live stream and ended up uploading it, and I think it went over pretty well, so that was cool. Let's see, episode 38. So this was right around the time when Ratchet quit, and I ended up switching over to a sub for our team when we were doing scrims and stuff. I started trying out running a sub, and I ended up really liking it. So this is one of the scrims we did. It was a pickup scrim. It was me, Illusion, Enviness, and Peaceful Chaos, and we ended up scrimming against these OP kids. Not OP like my YouTube clan, it's a different OP. It's like they pay ground war, I'm pretty sure. But they also got into like hardpoint and stuff. And one of their friends or something was talking shit to Peaceful. Peaceful asked me and Illusion if we want to play and all that. And we ended up putting together a little team. And I ended up dropping 38, I think, on these kids. And running a sub on Standoff. And we like 100-point clubbed them. So it was a pretty good episode as well. Definitely an entertaining episode. That was like the first time anyone has really seen me run a sub in a scrim. So I thought that was a pretty interesting episode to watch for sure. Let me go over to the next page. Now we have episode 39. This was actually kind of a funny one. Okay, so there was this kid. It was some TGNM tagging him kid. And he was talking shit to me on Twitter. And so I ended up actually running into him on League that exact same day when he was talking shit to me on Twitter. And he got absolutely destroyed in League. I think I dropped 40 on him. If I didn't drop 40, I dropped like a high 30 on him. And he pretty much absolutely got destroyed. 100-point clubbed. And let me check. I'm pretty sure I dropped like 35 to 40 on him. I don't know. I remember I went off on them though. And I especially remember it was good because I started out kind of bad. And let's see. I ended up dropping 34. I started out kind of bad. And then I absolutely ended up taking over like that whole game, so it was pretty interesting. And then the best part was he also ran into me on Modern Warfare 3 and got slapped in Modern Warfare 3. So it was like a dual Call of Duty slapping of this kid. So that was pretty entertaining. And this kid got smacked in Modern Warfare 3 and Black Ops 2, and he was still talking shit on Twitter, and I was just confused as to like what's wrong with him. But anyways, that was a good episode. So that brings us to episode 40. How much time do I have left? I still have a couple more minutes I could talk. So, episode 40. This was against XF Clan. These kids have been, just their leader has been talking shit for a while. I don't really know why. He's one of those kids. Let me just address this real quickly. Back when we had our 4, before Ratchet quit, when we were looking for a 4th, no one wanted to play us. As soon as like we had 3 people, and everyone knew that we needed a new 4th, everyone started coming out of the blue and started challenging us because they knew that we don't have a real 4th to play them. But before that, they were nowhere to be found. They would be straight up backing out of our lobbies and stuff. But anyways, as soon as we get 3, everybody all of a sudden gets a pair of balls. But these XF kids happen to be in that same category. And I ended up having a gameplay of them dashing from way back in like March, and I just never uploaded it because I didn't really have a problem with them. I didn't really know them. But they started talking shit, so I went on the hard drive, got this gameplay of them getting smacked, and uploaded it. So that was a pretty good episode as well. Let's see, episode 41. This is the one where me and Seth lose 2v3 playing multi-team against some tryhard kids. But the thing was, me and Seth slapped them. They just had a third person. Their whole team went negative, but they just had 3 people sitting on the hard point, whereas we only had 2. And we had a random who was like sniping, being an idiot. And so we end up losing. So I get a loss on Jenna for that, so I was pretty mad. So we ended up playing them in a private match, and we like 10-point clubbed them. Absolutely raped them in a scrim in a private match, so I thought that was pretty funny. So I ended up showing the multi-team game, the scoreboard, and then uploading the scrim of us raping them. So that was a pretty good episode as well. Let's see, episode 42. All right, I'm gonna end it on this one. This was kind of a pickup scrim, but not 100%. It was back before Illusion joined the AT. It was 5 AT versus 5 NM members, and we both had a random kid on our team. It was just kind of like a for fun scrim on Studio, 6v6 hardpoint, because we used to really like firing range back in the day. So we decided to try out a little scrim on Studio, and it was pretty fun. And we ended up slapping them, and it was pretty funny. I don't know, this was just back in the day. Well, I don't know. Well, this was like around like the week Studio came out, so that gives you an approximate time frame of when it was. It was actually funny just because Apollo was the one who like absolutely went off. But me and Mags also, like, we still dropped. I think Apollo had like 35, and then me and Mags both had like 30. So we ended up slapping him pretty good. And they all went negative. Illusion, Seth, Castro, Guido, and there was one more, and they all went negative, and it was just pretty funny. But anyways, I think that's pretty much wrapping up this video, guys. If any of these episodes you want to catch them, you didn't watch any of them before, they're all going to be in the playlist in the description. Just click on that. It'll take you to the playlist of every single Smackin Sweaties episode that's ever been uploaded, so you guys can check it out there. But anyways, be sure to leave a like rating on this video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you are not already, and I'll catch you guys later with another video. And yeah, peace out.
He's done.